I'm back, my Teaserking family. So I lost internet, I guess. Then I tried to come back and it told me it kept circling to go live, but it didn't go live. And anyway, so that's where I'm at now. So I am back. I will give a minute back on. Luke, where are you? Haven't seen you. Bobby. All right. So we were talking gold and silver. We were talking about the recession. We're in a big one. We're talking about why we price COMEX. That's all on the part one. And we started getting into the NFL, draft, free agency and draft. We'll get into that. And we will do that shortly. So let me give a minute or two and we'll talk free agents. So we started talking the top 5 by position free agents. So they made a comment about Sam Darnold as being the top quarterback. Which I thought was just absolutely ridiculous. He's nowhere near the top. He's not even a real. He shouldn't even be a starter. So, all right, let's look at it. So Darnold is nowhere. Now, what they were saying is he was the top free agent, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think Aaron Rodgers is by far the top free agent. And then you have Russell Wilson, number 2. And then I don't buy Justin Fields is not number 5. He's terrible. Kirk Cousins is terrible. And Sam Darnold, all you got to do is blitz him, as the Lions showed you, and then the Rams showed you, and he fell apart. So he's not very good. I think they overpaid for him. Seattle, it just shows you the coach doesn't know what he's doing. They paid a backup quarterback all this money. They got rid of Geno Smith, who sucked. They should never have gotten rid of Russell Wilson. I thought that was a huge mistake for Geno Smith. Geno Smith was horrible. I couldn't believe he made the pros. He was from West Virginia. He was okay. He was never anything great. He was a good backup. I mean, here you got the Lions with Hendon Hooker, who's a lot better than Geno Smith, who they don't even want to play. They'd rather play the choker, golf instead. So they're playing golf. They paid golf way too much money. It's screwing up their salary cap. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's go back to this. So the first 5, remind me, golf salary cap. So it goes back to here where you have Sam Darnold to Seattle. Why didn't Seattle take Aaron Rodgers with the intent of drafting some? You could get, there's some very good quarterback. McLeod at Texas State and the guy from North Texas are much better. Let's take a look at that. Let's do free agent and we'll get into college. So you're taking Darnold as if you can't get a good quarterback in the free agent, which is wrong. There's a lot of good ones in there. They could get Dylan Gabriel would be. He's like Bo Nix. He was very good. So Darnold, it's a joke. We'll be betting against Seattle a lot. Even at Minnesota, they really didn't beat anybody. They won a lot of one possession games at the end. Darnold wasn't really effective. He just threw the ball to Jefferson a lot. So he threw for 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns, except when they played a good team like the Lions or like the Rams, who aren't really that good of a team, and he didn't show up. Where was he in the Lion game? They got the ball at the 10-yard line 5 times and got 3 field goals out of it, and he missed Jefferson twice, who was open, because you couldn't handle a blitz. Well, that doesn't go away. He's not very good. He's proven he's not good. He was a surprise last year because you had Jefferson. Who does Seattle have? Okay, DK Metcalf, maybe, if he stays, which we're not sure if he's a free agent or they're trading him or what's going on with Metcalf. But okay, he'd have Metcalf instead of Jefferson. That could help him if he knows what to do with him. But I think it goes Aaron Rodgers 1, Russell Wilson 2, and then I don't see 5. Kirk Cousins is terrible, and Darnold's not much, and Fields isn't even an NFL quarterback. He's pathetic. He wants to run the ball. The highlights of him are running the ball into the end zone. So what are the Jets going to do with this guy? Let's see. Are they any better than the Bears when they had Fields? Fields can't throw apparently a touch pass. So you can't like loop the ball in and guys will catch it. So what is good about Fields? If the Jets are thinking Fields is their starter and with Aaron Glenn as their coach, they might lose every game. I really don't see who they can beat because New England's getting a little better. Miami, they're pretty bad, and then Buffalo will kill them. Probably the only team they can beat is Carolina or Tennessee or something like that. Otherwise, they don't have much of a chance. Kirk Cousins is a backup. As I said, it was a beautiful thing what they did. They got Cousins because they didn't have a quarterback, and they didn't think they could get Penix. And Penix falls in their lap, and people are going, well, why would they draft Penix? Because he's the best quarterback in the draft last year. He's better than Daniels. You'll see that this year. But him and Daniels were the two. The Bears take Caleb. They fuck up again. And Kirk Cousins was terrible. So I think Atlanta with Penix has a very good chance to win the division and get home field advantage. I think we'll see what happens, but they're much better than New Orleans, and and Carolina's terrible, and then Tampa's good. So I think Tampa and Atlanta will go for the division there. I don't like Tampa's coach. I'm not sure how much I like Atlanta's coach. Anyway, Kirk Cousins is the journeyman. He's always been that and everything. Luke, a lot of changes for the Steelers. Wonder if Aaron will be offered. Gold mining stocks have been a yo-yo lately. Well, Luke, we're almost close to eating as we've got 29.20 today. I think this week it'll hit it, but for sure by the end of the month we'll be dining out. Where have you been? Good to hear from you. A lot of changes for the Steelers. Yeah. I still like Russell Wilson as I think Russell Wilson's a good quarterback. I don't think the Steelers' problem was that. They couldn't run the ball. They had no receivers, and their defense was nowhere near their normal defense. So I think they need a couple of receivers and then a running back. I see Najee Harris is on San Diego. Good luck with that. Harbaugh is letting Bosa go. What's he, out of his mind? So the Steelers aren't the same Steelers. They need a quarterback. They keep playing without one instead of getting one. But Russell Wilson is not their problem. They need balance. So they need a running back. They need to pick up their offensive line a little bit more and get some receivers, and then get some better defense. I think their offensive coordinator was terrible last year. I think he killed them. That guy wanted to run the ball into was it into Baltimore or Buffalo, whatever that playoff game is. They wanted to run the ball, and you're getting 2 yards a carry. What are you doing? So I didn't buy that. The gold mining stocks, again, the stock market's dropping. You don't want to be in gold mining. I've warned you about that. You want to be in gold mining. There's two problems with the gold mining. Nobody wants them. And two, their inventories are being depleted by the between India, China, and Russia. They all are buying their silver. And you can't buy it on COMEX, so they're buying it from the mines. So you think, well, the gold price, silver price will go up and the stock should go up, except for their inventory won't be anything. So it's not like they've got 100 tons of gold in their inventory. It's being bought out by these countries, and therefore they won't have it. So therefore, you're not going to get the push. But I don't buy I don't buy any stocks right now. No, 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 no. That stay away. As you see, the market's starting to crash. It's going to crash because people need money. And it all gets down to people surviving. And if you have an asset and it's an Apple or your 401k, as your buddy does, that's what happens, right? It goes down. You sell your assets. Now, people are too stupid to buy gold and silver, except for our class. So their assets are stocks, maybe money in the bank, maybe real estate trusts or annuities. It's still paper shit. It's in the bank, and all that will be getting crushed. Bitcoin 79,000. Oh, what happened to Bitcoin? Where's my Bitcoin buddy telling me I cost him because now it's 105? Where is he now that it's 79, going south quickly? But I won't hear from him because he can't. I took him off he can't interrupt the class anymore. So anyway, so when we look at quarterbacks, I've been hearing a lot more recently about a gold revaluation. Well, but how does that affect it? Is that going to make the gold? Is that going to make COMEX more expensive? COMEX will have to go up because if gold's now 5,000 an ounce, COMEX can't sell the gold at 3,000, which is basically what they're doing, right? They're derivatives. Gold's 29.20 today, and silver's 32.56. So everybody would buy the gold and ask for delivery, which they don't have and can't get. That's what all this gold coming into the U.S. is to pay off the derivatives. It's not a gold. We don't. I love when people still think we have 8,000 tons of gold in Fort Knox. Why do you think there's no audit? Because they are going to find nothing, and they know Trump says, "Oh, all the gold's stolen." It's not stolen. You sold it to the Chinese. So they're sitting there saying that, but there is no gold in Fort Knox. So when it's revalued, is it just on the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve, or does that mean the price of gold spot will go from 2,900 to 7,500? I'm not sure how that plays, but I know 2,900 is not close to reality, and we certainly know silver at 32 is not anywhere near reality. But I explained that in the other video before I got interneted, that they keep the price low so they can buy it. That's the real. Shh, don't tell anybody, but they're buying the silver at 32 cheap, even though it's worth 500. Uh, so yeah, I mean, there could be a gold revaluation, but I just let the market just kill COMEX, get rid of the derivatives, and you'll see the free market price of gold. And like I say, it's up here, and here's COMEX, right? So we don't know what this number is, but we know that's the demand for gold. And as more dollars go out, as the euro goes out, and the pound and the Swiss franc and all the Asian and Africa, all their money goes to zero because it's all toilet paper. This will go up. So gold COMEX goes up to gold demand, but the demand will keep going because it's the only lifeboat in the town that you can get. You can't own the gold and the silver, so that's what'll happen there. The last time they revealed gold was 1971 or 73. Oh, well, you mean when they went from 30, what was it, 35 to $44 or $42? Um, yeah, I mean, they're a bunch of idiots. I think they realize they don't have any gold. And, what is the revaluing? Just let the fucking market run it, right? Get out of COMEX. If you just get out of COMEX, let the market run gold, you'll get to a real price, which is what you do with every other good and service. Why are you revaluing it? I mean, but why don't they just revalue it at 100,000 so they can pay their debt off? However, they still would have another debt because well, first of all, they don't have any gold, so they'd be wouldn't want to do it too high. And Russia and China would be happy, but Russia and China don't want us to price their gold anyway. They got all the gold, so they want their own gold price. Why is the U.S. pricing the world's gold? And they're using J.P. Morgan and derivatives to do it. And you wonder why everybody hates the U.S. Well, there's a good reason. I think gold then went on a cheer from 35 to 800 an ounce over the next 10 years. Well, that's because you could own it. And that's because of the inflation, because you printed the money, because now you didn't have it backed by gold and you needed to pay for the war and everybody else. So they were just jumping on gold. And that's when COMEX came in to keep the price down. So why would you want the price down? Because you don't have any. But yeah, it went from 35 to 800 because of the inflation, which, by the way, hasn't gone anywhere. So even when Volcker did 20% interest rates, it didn't stop inflation. Inflation's not prices, by the way. So when the prices came down because interest rates were so high, it didn't stop inflation because you had the market crash in 1987. Well, wait a minute, I thought we killed inflation. What was that all about? So no, you just if you counted it as prices, yes, you lowered it, but that's not inflation. It's not prices, as I said. Inflation is money supply and the value of the dollar. And I don't think the dollar got any stronger. So as I was saying, I've been watching these older Life in the 80s or the 70s, and they're showing, all these restaurants and the kids and how they dressed in these nice shorts and everything, the girls. And it just shows you that, like I said, there was the Big Mac was 50 cents in 1980, and now it's $5, $6, and that's the inflation. You got to go back to 1971 to today, not let's go to 2024 till today. Well, let's look at February 2024 to February 2020. Oh, inflation's gone. Yeah, if you're going to measure it that way, but that's not how you measure it. You measure it from when we went off the gold standard to now. That's how you measure inflation. And it's money printing, not prices. So you've printed 160 trillion. That's probably your problem, was the petrodollar and this FX exchange bullshit. So everybody needed dollars to buy other countries. So like I say, Switzerland wanted to buy pounds. They needed to buy dollars and take the dollars to buy the pound. What the fuck is that all about? So we had to print a lot of dollars so they could do that. So there's just way too many dollars out there, and the value is gone. And I like how they say, well, it's based on when the the confidence in the dollar. Who has confidence in the dollar? They're all dumping the treasuries, and everybody in the world's buying gold. That's how much confidence there are in the dollar. So at what point do you realize the dollar's worthless? We've already realized it, but I mean, I don't know what that means when there's no confidence in the dollar. There ain't any confidence in the dollar. So yeah, gold, but gold, that's still COMEX there, 35 to 800. I think COMEX went in 74, 75 or something like that. It's been fucking up the gold price ever since, but I think it's about to be blown up because now the reason is because now it's a physical market, right? People want to take delivery, want the physical. COMEX is not set up for that. It's set up as a Ponzi scheme where the U.S. and London, one buys, one sells, one buys, one sells, one sells, one buys. And it's okay because it's all paper until you start taking delivery. And now we need physical, which we don't have. And that's what's going to blow up COMEX because they don't have the physical to give out the delivery, which is why the U.S. is getting all this money, and it's got nothing to do with the gold standard. It's got nothing to do with putting the money back in Fort Knox because it's gone. I love how they say, well, the U.S. has gold all over the world. No, why? If we have Fort Knox and the Federal Reserve, would we have gold all over the world? What kind of stupid comment is that? How do you what are you out of your mind? If we had gold, it's in Fort Knox. Why would we have it in Poland? Why would we have U.S. gold in Poland? What would be the reason? Come on, man. I think they're going to rebalance their sheet to current spot prices in gold at around 2,900. That's at least what the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott says. I don't know who that guy is. I don't buy that. I don't get the reason for it. That's what gold is right now. But when gold hits 3,500, they're going to keep moving it, following gold. If they're going to revalue it, it should be about 5,000 an ounce or 10,000 an ounce. Then they can make a debt in the debt. But otherwise, it really is immaterial because you're just talking about on their balance sheet, and who cares because the dollar's worthless. So when the dollar goes out and they come out with USD number 2, they're going to have to do the whole rebalancing again, right? Because the dollar won't be worth the same in one as is, because this, and then they come out with a new dollar like the Germans did in the 20s, right? They had Reichsmarks, they came out with Deutschmarks. That solved your inflation for a little bit, but until Hitler started stealing all the gold, that's because they told Hitler you're broke. I think in 33, and of course he fired the guy, and then and then they came out with this fake money that was like, oh, okay, this is now money, and we'll hold on to this. When the war ends, we'll pay you real money for it. That's what he did. It was like cardboard or something, and he wrote little numbers on it, and that's how he built his all the military stuff. But it really doesn't mean anything. It's what spot, and I think that's going to go to Shanghai, Russia, and Dubai are coming out with physical gold exchanges. Well, it'll be precious metals and diamond exchange to get the real physical value of gold, silver, and diamonds, and then we'll get that, and we'll see. It's funny. I'll tell you how limited the supply is. So Profit has got a big bar of gold, like a 2-kilo bar, which is like 70 ounces. And I was in my coin store. It was my birthday, so I bought silver, right? And I said, by the way, if I have what should I do with this big gold bar? Would you cut it down into ounces? And he said, well, he like interrupted me. We'll buy it. You're gonna give me, yeah, we'll give you a check for the amount. Like, didn't hesitate. We'll buy it. I said, should I get it cut into ounces? And he was like, no, just bring it in. We'll pay you for it, and then they'll cut it into ounces. So they must be really depleted on gold and silver. This guy owns 3 stores. All he had in his inventory of gold was 3 eagles and 2 maple leafs. That's all he had, which is what somebody brought in. So he can't even get on his own, and I would assume the demand's high at the coin store. So he couldn't do that. So if they rebalance the sheet, that's not spot, I don't believe. When they did it, to make it $35 an ounce in the 70s, there was no COMEX. I don't think there was a way to really set the price. See, they've never really let gold and silver go to a free market price. I think they probably did in Rome, and they probably did in France and England in 1790 and then 1800s, where they might have had a price for gold, but they've always kind of, gold's $30 an ounce. They never let gold run because they always would print the dollars, and so we've never really had a free market price of gold. Maybe maybe in Roman time, but otherwise, I don't think so. So even when we had it in the 1940 after World War II, it was priced at what, $22 or 20. I think it might have been 35 an ounce from the war. And that's all that was. They just came up with a price, but it wasn't free market. This is the first time we're actually kind of getting free market, right? It's 29.20. That's partially free market. But again, it's still not, there's still derivatives being done, taking the price down. They're still holding the price down. So we still aren't at free market where I sell it to you and I say, I want 10 grand for it and you buy it. That's our price, 10 grand. So right now it's still looking at COMEX, unfortunately. So I'm going to divvy in between football and that because I did a lot in the first video and then I got internet problems. So I'm round two. Anyway, so the top five quarterbacks they got here. Well, Justin Fields is not a quarterback. He's terrible. So you got Darnell, who, he's okay until you blitz him. What is that? Kind of quarterback is that? So Aaron Rodgers is number one, Russell Wilson's two, and the rest aren't even pros. Fields and Kirk Cousins. I mean, it's a joke. It went up 22 times to 800 after the revalue. Well, no, it's because of the inflation. So if we go through it, you had the dollar in the 60s and they printed too much for Vietnam War, and then they started Social Security payments and they started all the social programs. Well, we're going to build roads, and they needed money, and that's why France asked for the gold back. That's why we got off in 71. We printed too much dollars. You can't print, you can only print as much dollars as you have gold. So they printed too much. France wanted it, so they started taking their gold, and the US wanted to keep the price down. And that's when the inflation started, because now the dollar is worthless in 1971 because it's not backed by gold anymore. So once you lose the gold backing in 71, then you've started inflation. Now you're just printing it with nothing backing it. So it's basically toilet paper or monopoly money at that point. And that's why gold went up, because they didn't have COMEX yet. So now the price just kept going. And that's what's going to happen now. So when you see gold at $35 an ounce and it's 800, that's my point. Gold's at 2,900, but what's this number's got to be at least 10,000. If you just got the derivatives out and let it run, you don't need to revalue anything. Just get this fucking COMEX out of the way. Now, how much are you going to bid? And the thing is, it's the frenzy time. Like the Titanic is, it's sinking. It's 95% in the water. You're trying to get on lifeboat, and that's where we're at with the dollar. Only it's the whole world. Every country has the same bullshit central bank and has the same bullshit printing. It's all worthless. All the dollars in the world aren't worth anything because they're not backed by gold. So that's what you're going to have, is a lot of people realizing their only lifeboat's gold and silver. And now what do you think the price is going to be? And we're very close to that frenzy where the price is going to go, because they start realizing their dollar. And I think most people do. You got a lot of gold and silver sales, and you got all these central banks buying gold, and you got gold at 29, 20. So now all of a sudden people are like, So anyway, well, when are we going to Capitol Grill, Luke? Why don't we just make a date, middle end of March? We got 29.20. I mean, we don't need it exactly at 3,000, but it probably will be 3,000 by the end of March. So let me know where are we meeting. Bobby's been on a little bit, so I don't know if we're going to Pittsburgh or Tampa or here. So let me know what's going on. That would make gold climb to 64,000 per ounce in the next 10 years. It'll be there a lot quicker than 10 years, Luke, if they, you can't use that. I mean, like I said, the variables are different. So what happened in 71 and when it went up to 800, you can't use that. I think 64,000 is low. I think that's very conservative. As I said, when everybody realizes the Titanic's sinking and everybody realizes their dollar's worthless, and they start running into gold, there's not a lot of gold. The 200,000 tons that there is already gone. China's got 80,000, Russia's 25 at least in Putin's swimming pool. You got India with a ton of, 30,000 tons, I think. Saudi with a ton, Dubai now, South Africa, all of Africa has a lot of gold. So if there's not a lot out there, and yet the demand's going to be huge. So it'll be like your brother's Super Bowl tickets. If you can get them first, they're 1,500. But then when that runs out and there's still demand, you see it go up to 5,000. And that's what's going to happen here. As people need gold, nobody's going to. You bought gold now at 2,900. Are you going to sell it at 2,900? No way. You're going to say, yeah, I need 5,000 for it. And they will pay you because they need the gold, because the dollars are worthless and gold's the only lifeboat. It's a monopoly. We have a monopoly situation that we can really take advantage of. And that's the difference. So when that goes, we will definitely do that. But, 64th, not in the next 10 years, maybe in the next 10 months, but in the next 10 years, gold will have no value. The dollar will be gone very soon. And so you won't price gold in dollars. And that's what I've been telling you. It'll buy your house. An ounce to a gold will buy your house. And that's what gold will be. It'll buy a Mercedes. You'll just use the gold to buy things. It'll be worth so much. And that's the point. So the $500,000 house in monopoly money turns into 50,000 monopoly money, or an ounce or two of gold. That's down the road, but that's where we're headed. There's nothing that can stop it now, because you can't come out with new dollars unless you back it by gold, which these idiots are too stupid to do, or they're all corrupt and don't want to do it. Luke, I'm heading for France for 12 days at the end of March into April for work. That sounds like fun. What, Paris or Nice and Cannes? I took Carmen to Cannes and Nice, and we went to Monte Carlo and Saint Tropez. So it was kind of fun. Versus, I've never been to Paris, but it sounds like you're probably going to Paris. So when you come back, we'll go to Capitol Grill. Well, at least I'm glad you're still working, and I would heavily advise you to get your paycheck and Rumpelstiltskin it into gold and silver. Stock market's starting to crash. Bitcoin's starting to crash. But one thing we know won't crash is gold and silver. Silver at 32 is such a joke. But it's like I said, it's the sale of the century. It's the buying opportunity of a century to get silver at 32. It's going to break. They can't. COMEX has to break. There's too much demand for silver, which is what blows up COMEX. So I get asked, well, why is gold going to go up now? And what's COMEX? And it's because it's physical. That's what's going to change. It'll be physical. And that's not set in COMEX, is not set to be physical and take delivery. So it'll blow up. And they keep wanting the silver. You keep holding it down to that $32, and you will attract a lot of people, because you realize, most people go, oh, it's not going anywhere. But the real thing is, you can get $500 an ounce silver for $32. Oh, Howard, where are you getting 500 from? It's never hit more than 50. It's always been paper. It's never been physical. That's what hurt the Hunt brothers. They were buying it. They were buying paper silver instead of physical. Had the Hunt brothers bought physical, but the Hunt brothers didn't understand the game, that it was controlled by J.P. Morgan. So to try to buy all they were buying paper silver, but all they would do is do the 4%, 96% paper, doing derivatives. So of course you're not going to corner the market. Now, had you bought physical, I don't know how many ounces. I used to look it up. It was 500,000 tons. Gold was 200,000 tons. Silver 500,000. Now I'm seeing like silver 1,000,001 tons versus 500,000. And I don't know. It's like, where did that come from? So I'm not quite sure I'm reading it right or they're telling me right when I say how many ounces of silver is there, and then I convert it into tons. But I thought it was 500,000 tons. So let's say 700,000 tons. It's gone. It's all gone. And they can't keep the price down for that. Lion. What lion? Oh, Lyon. Is that you're going? Is that near Paris? I don't know what that is. Oh, enjoy it. Fortunately, not much left over of paycheck these days. Well, yeah, but you have a lot of silver, so you'll be retired soon when all your silver turns to hundreds. Like I said, I have 700 ounces. You got a lot more, but when it hits 100, I'll have $70,000 of silver. Yeah, and you'll have a whole lot more because you got a whole lot more to multiply, right? 100 times all your silver. That's the thing about gold. Gold goes up $100, and you make, if you have 70 ounces, you make $7,000. But if silver would ever go up 100 times 700 ounces instead of 70, you would then have 700,000. Or no, you'd have 70,000. What is it? Yeah, if it goes up to at 100, it's 70,000. At 1,000, you're in really good shape. Then you're at 1,000,000. Oh no, that okay. So that's what you're looking at. But you're setting yourself up for a year or two, and then you'll be retired because you'll have so much money. The question is going to be what's going to be money. They'll have to come out with the new U.S. dollar because it's worthless, and you can't really buy. You're not going to buy a yuan or anything. So you're kind of waiting to buy the gold-backed currency from BRICS if we can. I might have to have Daria buy it in Russian, but if you can buy it, who the hell wants U.S. dollars? And they keep saying, there is no gold in Fort Knox. I told you, Luke. That's why Trump won't out. They were going to audit it until they realized that there's nothing there. And if they do that, then they show that the dollar's worthless because there's no gold. There's no gold in your Fort Knox. The guy from Die Hard 3 took it all. Jeremy Irons. Yeah, I mean, we're all set. We're just waiting for the X to fall. They can't save the dollar, and people will start realizing the dollar is gone. And that's my point. At what point they say, well, they lose confidence. And I'm thinking, well, the Germans they were taking wheelbarrows full of money to buy milk and eggs. Did they lose confidence in it? No, everybody else, it just lost value to zero. I mean, that's basically what happened in Germany. And that's, I think, what'll happen here. Maybe you want to start selling the carts. What are they called? The wheelbarrows. Maybe we should go into a wheelbarrow company, start selling wheelbarrows. Hey, put all your money in here and go to Kroger's and get a milk. Come on, you can fit $100,000 into this, and it'll buy you milk and eggs. Well, see, you're smart. See, if you understand the dollar is worthless, and that's why I teach it. So you make appropriate things now. You don't wait. You don't wait till the boats sink. You buy it when the boat hits the iceberg. The Titanic is when you start getting to the lifeboat. You don't wait till it's 99% in the water to go, hey, I think the boat's going to sink. And it's the same thing here. We don't wait for the dollar to collapse. We've been buying now. And then when the dollar does collapse, we're already in our lifeboat. And we'll watch them shoot fireworks into the air going, why isn't the other boat coming over? Come on. Anyway, so free NFL free agents. I've been talking a little bit about that. So again, Aaron Rodgers. If I would either go to Minnesota because you need a quarterback and you got the whole team, or as you said, Pittsburgh, or well, San Francisco and LA. You've got Seattle. Seattle now needs a quarterback, but they don't have a good defense. Or Arizona, they got Kyler Murray. The only other team is Dallas Cowboys. I think if he went to Dallas, would be a good pick because they need a quarterback. They're not winning with Dak Prescott, so at what point do they realize? And they keep paying the guy like all this money. That gets me to the Lions. So the Lions, everybody wants to know, are they signing Myles Garrett? And the GM says, "Oh, we can't afford him." And you could for a year, but the problem is you've signed your offensive tackles to like $30 million, and then you've signed your wide receiver, St. Thomas, to $30 million. But your big problem is you signed Golf, the quarterback, to $60 million or something like that, 50, 60 million. But he's worth about 5 cents. And so the problem is you're overpaying your quarterback, and that's my point. And then you can't buy the defense you need because it's all in the quarterback, and you can't win with the quarterback. You fucked up. You signed Golf to a ridiculous quarter. You should have traded him and went to Hooker. If you go to Hooker, Hooker is better than Golf. He doesn't choke. Again, he beat Alabama 50-49, and then you have now you need Myles Garrett, and guess who you win with? Look at Philadelphia. They won with Jalen Hurts, he's terrible. But they had Barkley, and they had the receivers in the offensive line and this killer Georgia defense. So what do the Lions need? The defense, but they don't have any money for it because it's all in this. You got a backup quarterback that you're paying $50 million to. You're out of your mind. The guy's never won. LA let him. Why do you think LA let him go? What, for the hell of it? LA let him go because they knew he was a choke. And Stafford was much better. Stafford wins the Super Bowl. The Lions had Stafford, so they made that mistake. Had they done what they do now with Stafford, they probably could have won the Super Bowl last year. But with Golf, forget about it. And then they need the defense. So if you would have, that's why New England won so much. Brady never took the max $30 million contract. He would take $15 million, and then he'd own most of Gillette with the owner, right? So the owner gave him things, so he didn't pay him salary cap from the team. So he'd pay him let's say it was 20 million, he'd pay him 10 or 15, and then he'd own half of Gillette or half of these, a lot of business deals where part ownership or something, where it's probably in the wife's name or something. And that's how Brady got underpaid, but then they always had great defenses. And, that's really the way it is now. You cannot pay your quarterback unless his name's Mahomes or Joe Burrow, $50-60 million. And they just keep paying these quarterbacks more and more and more. They're not worth it. You're not going to win with them. And then it stops you from buying defense. And that's really a problem. So the Lions' problem is, just a second, look, the Lions' problem is they overpaid for their quarterback. And now it doesn't leave them money for good defense, and you need the defense. So they got big problems. I don't know. I don't know, on the radio, one guy said Hutchinson has the same injury as an MMA guy, and it took him 4 years to recover. So everybody thinks Hutchinson, I don't know what he did. I was in Italy. I didn't see the play, but he broke his leg. And apparently it's a very severe injury that'll take 3 or 4 years to recover from. So basically his career is over, but they're acting like, oh, no problem. He'll be back this year. And he won't be. He won't be back at all this year. But they're banking on it. But there goes their team. They have no defense. They'll never win with no defense. Washington's getting better. Atlanta got Penix. Tampa is pretty good. Uh, Minnesota, if they go to Aaron Rodgers, they'll beat Detroit. He's seen a blitz before, and he's beat the Lions a bunch. And then you have, and then you got Green Bay. The Jordan Love doesn't. He looks lost out there a lot of times. So I'm not quite sure. They don't run enough, and their defense. They need more Georgia guys than just number 7. So Green Bay is on the cusp, but they can't beat Detroit and Minnesota. So I don't know what's going on there. LaFleur, he's a good offensive mind. Again, he's a good offensive coordinator. I don't think he's a head coach. Anyway, that's where it is. Does the dollar collapse quickly? Well, okay, Luke, the dollar's already collapsed. That's why it has no value. That's why you pay $5 for cauliflower. The dollar's collapsed. We know it has, but out in the world, they don't know. However, you see China and Japan and all these countries who are de-dollarizing, who are selling their T-bills to buy gold. Well, is that a collapse? They know the dollar's worthless. They're getting out of these T-bills because they know they'll never get paid. Then that's the other problem with the $37 trillion in debt. If I have $37 trillion in debt and I go to you, Luke, I need money, and you go, I'll give you 10 grand, but how comfortable are you that I can pay you back when I got $37 trillion in debt? You're going, I can't, I'm not going to loan you money because I'll never get paid. So that's kind of the default that you're asking. The dollar has collapsed, right? But how do they explain it? So, yeah, it's already gone. The stock market's crashing now. It was 44,000, it's 41, and all that's apparently on these ETFs. I showed a good ETF video the other day if you want to watch it. And basically, it was that the ETFs are making the stock market go up because people are putting their money into ETFs, which raises the stock price. And the more money goes into the ETF, the more the stock price goes up and the more people buy it. So people are just playing a Ponzi scheme. Instead of spending $150 on a share of Apple, they're buying the ETF for 10 or 20 or I don't know how ETFs work. I don't care. They're all Ponzi schemes. So I don't want to buy them, but that's what they're doing. This is like in gold. They're buying a gold ETF. Instead of paying $3,000 for the ounce of gold, they're buying X amount of ETFs. But you're getting fucked on that. You don't own the gold at all or the silver. You don't own it. And therefore it's not worth anything and you'll never get the money. And when the dollar goes out, your ETF goes to zero. Surprise, you only can own physical. You cannot own the paper. The papers are IOUs and they're not worth anything. They're not good. And when the shit hits the fan, well, yeah, I want my gold. Well, sorry, I don't have it. Like I said, I got the Montana rookie. So I'm going to ETF this 1,000 times. So 1,000 people think they own the one card and they call for it. And I go, well, I don't have it. I only have one and that's mine and you're not getting it. So the other 1,000 people who think they own this got made off. And that's what ETFs are. They're made off. But as you buy them, they are raising the stock price. And that's why. But on the other hand, when people start selling them, the stocks will really crush down fast because then it's algorithms or whatever, but it'll force the price down and it'll really, and they can't control it because it's algorithms. So all of a sudden you'll see stocks at 30,000. And my question to you, Luke, is your buddy with the $4 million in his 401k. At what point does he start sweating? I bet it's not worth 4 million now. I bet it's worth maybe 3.5 million. At what point, when it hits 2.5 million, does he start sweating? And by the way, he'll be He'll have to get the money out. And then will there be any gold for him to buy and at what price? So we were talking, well, he'll just start buying gold when it goes down. And my answer was if there is any to buy and at what price will he have to pay for it? You know, he's not going to get it at 3,000 an ounce like me and you can get it now. He'll probably pay 10,000 an ounce if he can find it. Right? He's going to call Andy Scheckman and it's because, hey, Andy, I had $1 million of gold, and Andy's going to say, I don't have any. Andy said if somebody came in with a big bar of silver now, he'd buy it from them in 2 seconds. So what we see is supply very limited. Like my guy, if I gave him a 1 kilo bar, or let's say 100 ounce bar of gold, he'd buy it and give me a check in 2 seconds. So anyway, that's what we see. Well, the dollar versus other currencies, they're all bullshit. They're all worthless. So the dollar versus the euro, what are we talking about? This is worthless and this is worthless. So the dollar collapses versus this or that. I mean, they're both worthless. They're both monopoly money. So it doesn't matter. The dollar in itself having a value, it doesn't. This in itself having a value, it doesn't. But this versus this, who cares? I don't care versus the euro. If you look at some of these, like the Ukrainian, because the Jenna is now $42. So $1 buys you 42. The Russian, the ruble, $1 was buying you 100, is now $1 buys you 89. Who cares? It doesn't matter versus the other currencies because it just gets fucked around with the FX rate. It's mostly the dollar itself in the market. Does it buy anything? And it's buying a whole lot less. And they'll say it's prices, and it's not because we know that's not what inflation is. Inflation is you've printed the money to nothing. And that's that's why when you go to the grocery store or go buy a Camry and it's 35 grand or whatever, and that's the problem with it. The prices, the dollar has no value. And so what do you do as the store? So you're selling Toyotas. How do you sell it? And then do I want dollars for it? I give me gold for the Toyota. I don't want dollars. What good is $100,000? It's worthless. It's worth zero. Lucas, SILJ is a silver miner ETF. It's like a mutual fund, a basket of stock companies. There's like 26 different companies that are a part of it. When you buy one share, you split it 26 times. Okay, so why in God's name would you want to be in that? Just I'd be buying physical. Give me my physical silver. So this is what I bought the other day. This is my birthday gift. So the orange is a five ounce, and then I bought Philharmonics he had. So I got 4 Philharmonics and a maple. This is my birthday gift. Why would I do anything besides this? Right, 10 ounces of silver, $340, and I just danced. I danced my way out, but that's it. So I don't get the ETF or stock game. A mutual fund game. I think it's just ridiculous. No, I'm not working. My position got eliminated a couple of weeks ago out of the blue. I'm working with my boss. The next thing it's 2:30 and he calls me. He says, "Come with me," which is unusual because he's very unorganized and he's usually in meetings all day. And so we go in to see HR and I think, oh, I'm going to get hired because the job was supposed to be, I'm supposed to get hired, but they wanted me now. So I was contract, but the intent was to get hired. And they said, well, we had to eliminate your position. I says, is there a problem? And he said, no, 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 just we had to eliminate the position. And they take my card and they took my computer, and I was just absolutely shocked, but not. I knew the company was terrible and my job was boring because I wasn't doing a lot, and I had to learn this stupid one stream, which I learned. And I'm ready to get going, and they eliminated the position. So they are trying to be sold. That's why they broke ignition out of powertrain, was to sell ignition. So I don't know, but I knew they were in a recession, and so I said, did I do anything wrong? He said no, because I would yap about gold in the break room, but nothing major, just trying to help people. And that was it. So that was early February, and so I've been out. I did get my final checks, which would have been nice if I would have had knowledge. I would have probably spent my checks a little differently. And that was it. So now I'm home. I still get my Social Security. I will apply for unemployment next week because it's a 1 year after you applied last year. So I was on unemployment last year because I couldn't get a job after Harley, and then they hired me in November, which was perfect. Social Security, you could only make 22,000, and I made 17 because it was November, December. So it worked out perfectly. And then it's Jan Feb goes on this year. And so because I didn't make much, my bracket will be low. I will owe tax on unemployment. And I shouldn't know anything on Social Security. I asked my buddy who's a CPA, and I said, does the unemployment add to my paycheck? And he says, no, that's just W-2 earnings, hopefully. So the earnings were 17. The other, which could push me over the 22,000 for Social Security, is not included because it's passive income, I guess. How they're incoming unemployment makes no sense because it's not income. It's an insurance claim. So, but that should come separately, and then I'll be in a low bracket, so that shouldn't be much. Social Security should be fine. So I'm going to do my taxes, I think, today, and maybe I'll owe a little bit, but I don't think I'll owe too much. So that's fine. But no, I'm off work. I'm applying. I got applied to GM. I don't hear anything. I got applied to. There was another. Oh, this Henry Ford Health Systems in Detroit, and it was weird. It was like they were paying 75 an hour. Now, normally I'm in the 50 to 60 range. That's about right for senior financial analyst. This was 75, and I'm like, what? It was strange. It was, so I got applied to that one, but I haven't heard. And it goes like that. They might take a month or two, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you'll get a call. They're interested. So all I can do is wait, and that's why I'm trying to get money here, but I'm not. I don't know how much time I need or views or whatever it is. So I'm still waiting on that. And I'm trying to tutor, but I don't know who's going to tutor for Austrian economics. Maybe Excel, maybe finance I can tutor for. So I'm on this strange site I've never heard of where you would tutor. But I need adult education where I got to teach economics, which I got to figure that out. But otherwise, and I don't care. It's just, I was a little worried, which got me into thinking about retirement, Luke. So you're used to getting a paycheck, and the hardest part for you to retire and me, all of a sudden we don't get the check because by definition we've retired. We're not working anymore, but we're used to the check every week or two, and then we go spend it and we go buy gold and we spend it on everything. And that's really what the problem is. Now, what they'll tell you is buy stocks that give you a dividend and you live off the dividends. Oh, that's not going to be enough. So can you retire? And I figured out the only way we can retire, us, is to have gold and silver. And then when you need it, you cash in an ounce, you get the money, and that's sort of, instead of dividends or some sort of interest earning or an annuity, you use that. because the dollar will be worth nothing. So how are you going to have a stock and get dividends and money and monopoly money? It's not going to be worth anything. Neither would an annuity or a real estate trust. So that's I think why a lot of people have struggle with retirement. You're not getting that paycheck that you've been getting. I've been getting since I was 16, a paycheck, and now it's like, what do I do? So it's actually prepared me. And I keep realizing I have the gold, so I'm fine. If I need to sell an ounce, I sell an ounce. And I'm just waiting for the gold to go up, and especially the silver. When silver hits 100, I've just made 70,000. I'm fine. And when the dollar goes out, then I'm really fine with the gold and the silver. So I'm not really even worried about, if I get a job, I get one. If I don't, I'm perfectly fine. Social Security pays the rent and the utilities here. So that's all you just don't want to be homeless, but I have the money coming in for that. And that's it. So you go from there. I still have money in the safe. I would have put more. So had I had knowledge that the job was ending, I would have put another couple paychecks in the safe. So I did replenish it a lot from when I had pulled it when I was unemployed. So this was a good, like, I worked November, December, January, and February. So I got some good checks in. So it's that was the key. So that I thought ahead and said, "Well, this is going in the safe to replenish," and I bought about 5 ounces of gold with it. So I did okay with it. I'm pretty happy, and but that's why it was my birthday. I went and bought silver. It's a no brainer. It's the perfect birthday gift. So I told Daria, "Thanks. That's my birthday gift from you," because she doesn't have money. She can't really do much. Um, she's still worried about her cheek. She talked to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Oh, I guess when she was having a cavity done, I don't know what the dentist did. Anyway, it got pushed up into her cheek. Now I don't know when this happened, like 6 months ago or 5 years ago, and so it got infected. So she's all better from that, and she's going to the doctor to get it drilled out. And she was all nervous. Oh my God, I got to get an operation." But the doctor called her back, "When are you coming in?" And she said, "I'm scared." And he said, "Oh, it's a very minor operation. It's not like, getting a kidney out or something." So she'll go, I think, this week or next week to get the tooth out or the cavity out, whatever she's got in her. But she was really scared about it, which I understand. But yeah, I said they're gonna freeze you. You won't feel anything. At least I think they will. But anyway, that's, a lot of people have a fear of the dentist or the doctor, and I don't blame her. Anyway, so we'll find out about that. I got her nice perfume for her birthday. So she doesn't have money to get me a gift, but I don't care about that. Just as long as I get the happy birthday, which she did send. So that's it with that. So yeah, you've got the money going out very soon. You've got the gold and silver going up. We know it's price fixed. We know it's worth a lot more. So we just buy as much as we can and just hold on. You've got so much silver, Luke, you don't need it. But if you get a chance, buy at least tenth of an ounce. There's still 330, and the quarter ounce is about 850 now for a quarter ounce. And the ounce was 29.90 for the ounce of like a maple leaf, and the eagle was 30 20 or something. So it's like 110 over. And silver was 32.40. I was able to buy it for 34.40. The 10 ounces I got, I gave him $340 for it. Steal of the century. Luke, we've been waiting forever for this revaluation of type. Feels like it's never going to happen. I get so frustrated watching the yo-yo. Well, you understand they're all derivatives. So if you understand the game of COMEX, where it's just derivatives being bought and sold, you're halfway home. Again, they're keeping the price low so people can buy it. But guess what? People are taking delivery, and guess what? They have to. July 1st is the date where they have to settle all the delivery. That's why the US is buying a lot of gold because they need to pay the derivatives off. And so, as soon as that, they're running out of the gold to play the game with, but notice it's still going up. We will see 3,000 by the end of March and we'll go up to 3,500. And that's so if you realize it's price fixed, the question is, well, if I buy it, how will the price fix end? So in other words, gold should be 10,000 an ounce. It's 2,900 on its way to 3,500. At what point does it finally end? Now, keep in mind, nobody's selling the gold. It's all being bought, and it's all being they're taking delivery of it. So, but we understand it's BRICS that's going to force. They're all taking the delivery, and they're going to force the gold price up. So, if we understand that, we don't worry about okay, yeah, right now it's not, but do you need the money right now? You might retire now versus waiting another 6 months or a year. That's about it, but you're basically working and that's money's used for your bills. You can buy more gold and silver. And then and then at the end of the day, you, it's going to go up. It will go up. It's just, we're waiting for for the Russians and Chinese to break the COMEX with their physical markets and the delivery. Right now, it's kind of like nobody wants to piss off the US. That's why they're not coming out with the gold-backed currency right now. But soon Russia will because of the war and they're on sanctions. So they can say, hey, you forced our hand. And the US is doing a good job blowing up their own money. So really a bunch of morons running the US. It's insanity. But yeah, you got to quit worrying about it. As Marcus Aurelius says, we can't worry about it. We can't worry about things we can't control. We can only control our mind. Marcus Aurelius. So that's what you got to realize. We know it's going to go up, but we don't know when. And so we just got to wait for it. And it's going to happen. So that's what you do. And that'll be fine. You'll be fine. It can't go down. It can only go down with derivatives, but now everybody's buying it. They got to come up with 30,000 tons by July 1st to settle all these derivatives. So as COMEX blows up, and then we rely on China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia or Dubai to have the exchanges that are physical, then that's where we're at. So that is coming. So at least it's a good thing. COMEX is blowing up because of BRICS. That's a good thing. So that. So you just got to wait for that to happen. But it's slow. But with the U.S., what's with Trump going on a crypto? We'll be the crypto guys of the world. Like, crypto's not worth anything. What the hell are you thinking? So I think he wants to pay off the debt with crypto. And I'm like, gee, yeah, who's going to take it? You got to understand, crypto's not money. So you owe the debt to the Chinese and the Russians and the Japanese and the Germans. And you're gonna what? Pay them in crypto? Is that how you're gonna pay off the bonds? $37 trillion of them with crypto? Like, but don't they have to want to accept that? And they're not gonna want to accept it. Luke, I've been hearing once silver breaks through 33, it's gonna fly higher quickly. The only way silver is breaking is once COMEX drops dead. Until COMEX blows up, silver's not going anywhere. So don't think it had broke 33 a little while ago, but it came right back down. Then of course, once it breaks 50, who the hell knows where it's going? Well, it's going to 1,000 an ounce. We know that. Let's see where our spot prices are right now. Gold 29.18, silver 32.79. So we're close to the 33, Luke. Up $1. The puzzle is when it drops. Nobody's selling this when it drops. Gold at 29.18. See, here's the difference. Gold goes up $25, silver goes up 66 cents. That's my bitch about it. And that's what I don't quite get. Why does it silver go up $20? I think it will, but right now that's the frustration is why does it go up 69 cents? What is that? Who cares? Why so cheap? Because they have so much silver derivatives out there that there's no value in it. That's the problem. All right. So back to the NFL draft, or the free agents. So there's really not a big deal. Um, Russell Wilson's big, but if he stays at Pitt or if Aaron Rodgers goes to Pitt, but Aaron should go to Minnesota or Dallas. But Dallas is too stupid to start him. They got Dak Prescott, so I don't know. Cousins stinks. Justin Fields is horrible. If the Jets use Justin Fields as their starting quarterback, they might lose. They might go 0-17, and we'll bet against them almost every week. I don't know if they're an over or under because the defense was there with Salah, but then it's gone, and then offensively they lost. Devontae Adams went somewhere, so we will see. All right, let's go. Running backs: Aaron Jones of the Vikings, Rico Dowdell, he stinks. Najee Harris stinks. J.K. Dobbins stinks, and Nick Chubb was good, but he's been injured. So if you look at this, Aaron Jones, Minnesota, he's okay, but I like the Green Bay running back they got instead. So he's all right, Aaron Jones. Dowdell, I don't see anything. Najee Harris, yeah, this ain't Alabama. You're not playing Tennessee, Najee. J.K. Dobbins is still on San Diego, but he's a free agent. And then Nick Chubb, who looked real good, a Georgia boy, he looked really good, but now injured, 300 yards. I don't know how you pick him up. So really nothing game changing. Aaron Jones probably stay with Minnesota. Dardell, who cares? Najee Harris going to San Diego. So nothing much there. Wide receivers. Devontae Adams is now on the Rams, so they'll probably get rid of Cooper Kupp, and they have Pukanuka and Devontae Adams and Stafford. This is a very good team. They've got some defense, and they got a running back, so they need not a lot in the draft. Probably go with linemen and stuff like that. Godwin still with Tampa Bay. Amari Cooper with Buffalo. Stephon Diggs with Houston. Hollywood Brown with Kansas City. So, Diggs is injured. Cooper's injured. Devontae Adams is gone. So pretty good. Tight ends, Evan Ingram, he sucks. Zach Ertz, pretty good on Washington. Mike Gesicki is really good on Cincy. Jawan Johnson, never heard of, and Tyler Conklin, never heard of. So this is the problem. Gesicki and Ertz are probably the two big names there. Offensive linemen. Excuse me. Offensive linemen. Let's see. Number one, Ronnie Staley of Baltimore. But he's staying with the Ravens. So what's the point of this? Ravens agree to a new deal. Who cares? Mekhi Becton of Philadelphia. I mean, how do you grade out offensive linemen? Either you can block or you can't block. I know it's a little bit of footwork, which I'm sure can be taught at this level. Will Fries, Indianapolis, Cam Robinson, Minnesota, and Kevin Zeitler, Detroit. Kevin's going to be 35. So what the hell do you want this guy for? For offense on. So all these guys to me are very easy to replace. I don't see how you can possibly rank them. Edge rushers. Josh Sweat went to Arizona from Philly. Malcolm Kuntz still on Oakland. Khalil Mack still on San Diego. Shin Reddick went to Tampa, and Joey Bosa always injured. These Bosa guys are always injured, especially this guy. I think he's going to play with Frisco because he wants a grass field and he wants to play with his brother. So that helps. Although I don't know how bad Frisco is going to be next year. We'll have to look at the draft. Defensive tackles. Milton Williams went to New England. Who the hell knows who he is? Jonathan Allen with Minnesota. B.J. Hill with Cincinnati. They don't have any defense. And that's about it. Linebackers. Nick Bolton with Kansas City. Drew Greenlaw. I like him, but he's injured with Denver. Ernest Jones, Seattle. Jamie and Sherwood with the JETSs. And Tyrell Dotson. Who the hell knows who he is? Cornerbacks. Byron Murphy, Minnesota. DJ Reed to Detroit. Charvarius Ward, cornerback, Indy. Carlton Davis went to New England. Paulson Abudu went to New Orleans. Yeah, that'll help them. Safeties, Javon Holland of the Giants. Trevon Morwig, Carolina. Who cares? Justin Reed, Kansas City. Jeremy Chin, the Vegas, Oakland. And Jamron Bynum went to Indiana. So we will see. Again, now these are guys that probably aren't very good because the teams are letting them go. So if they were good players, the teams wouldn't let them go. So unless you're like the Lions where you overpay your quarterback, killing you from getting good defensive free agents, this is why like Washington with Daniels, they should be paying that guy soon, but they're on the rookie contract. I don't even understand the rookie contract crap. Because if the guys like Daniels should be making $35-40 million this year. If I was him, I'd sit out. So this is what I want. I know I'm the best quarterback in the league with Mahomes and Burrow, and I want to get paid accordingly. So we will see. But that's the thing. That's why they keep drafting. They pay less. So that's why it's hard with these guys on their next contract to pay it, because then you ruin the team, because this isn't the 70s Steelers where they could keep everybody. This is as you go to your next contract, it goes up to $30-40 million. I don't know how everybody makes $25-30 million on the team. I mean, what are you kidding me? Now, the owners are billionaires, but they're there to make money also. Luke. Have a nice day, Luke. Anything else on gold and silver that you want to let me know before we get off? Well, it's just, we know it's COMEX, and we know that pretty much it's gone. So think about it. You want to buy a tennis racket and you like it, but it's not there. And then you're going to increase the price because you know it's highly in demand and we can't keep it on the shelf. So we're going to raise our price, which is what you do. So that's what I would say is happening to gold and silver. It's gone, but the demand is there, and the demand's going to grow as everybody in Europe starts to realize this is worthless, and everybody in the U.S. starts realizing this is worthless. So they will all go, where do I go? If they go to their financial planner, he'll put them in he'll put them in ETF or just stocks, but Nvidia's getting hit. Tesla's getting crushed. Tesla was 450 a share, is now 220 a share, and probably down more. And you wonder, why does Tesla go down? Well, I don't know, because they can't sell their cars because nobody wants electric cars that are very expensive. And then you do these rocket ships and they crash. So what are you selling? You can't sell anything. Your name's mud. People don't want to deal with you. So that's really the problem with it. But that's about it, Luke. It's worthless, and it just like the tickets, just like your football tickets. All of a sudden, um, they're sold out. There is no more gold or silver really to buy. So you understand that concept. So therefore, if you want my silver or my gold, well, we'll use silver. I just paid 34.60 for the 10 ounces. I'm not going to sell them for 34 or under. I want 45 for my 10 ounces. And you can't find it. So you're going to have to, if you want it, you're going to have to pay. So that makes the price go up. So look for the price, definitely 3,000 by the end of the month. And then, and when you come back, we'll hit Capitol Grill. And then that's it. So, again, when do these derivatives blow up? And July 1st is a key date when they have to settle all the derivatives. So that's what I would say. So those are the two big things. But anyway, you've got the gold, you've got the silver, so you're all set. Instead of waiting until the last minute, we've been 3 years ahead of the game. So we got gold, silver cheap. And that's what's good about it. Anyway, have a good day, Luke, and I will see you tomorrow or when you're available. Have a safe trip. And where are you going? You're going to Paris or France. So enjoy, get some croissants, and enjoy. All right, have a safe flight. Daniel Jones is off the board as the Giants is reportedly signing a 1-year, $14 million deal with the Colts. You giving this idiot $14 million to be your backup? Unbelievable. I don't know what the Colts are thinking. I mean, I think maybe they gave up on Richardson, but why would they want Daniel Jones, who's proven he sucks? It's just like Darnold with Seattle. Like, what are they doing? So you got to be careful with that mess. What are the Jets signing Fields for? I mean, all you should, if Fields is your choice, just draft a kid out of college and just play him. I mean, you're going to lose every game with Fields. You're going to lose every game with Jones. You might as well just get a guy out of college. Or get Herndon Hooker or the other guy from Tampa that I like. Those guys are good players, and they don't play them, and you can't figure out. Lions with golf. Hooker, I don't get why they're not playing Hooker. He's so much better than golf, and yet they don't want to. So, okay, fine, whatever. What else? So that's your free agent market. Let's see if there's any. Let's look at a mock draft. I love these. So Tennessee will take Cam Ward. That's a huge mistake. That's what I want to do. Let me go into my college stats. We're gonna talk about college quarterbacks to draft. I'm going to filter it by touchdowns. So let's look at the top 10 quarterbacks as the professor sees it. So Cam Ward, 39 touchdowns, 7 picks, 300 yards a game. Looks impressive until we realize what he did at Washington State. He was not very good. I'm not sold on Cam Ward as the number one quarterback. He's a good third rounder. Prime Junior, Sanders, Colorado, 37 touchdowns and 10 interceptions and 42 sacks. He gets sacked a lot. He holds the ball too much. 37 and 10 looks good, but they just threw the ball. They didn't run the ball very much. Okay. Again, a third rounder. He's not you don't draft him in the first round. What I see happening is they got a first round. They want to draft a quarterback. They're trying to force it instead of saying, well, is Cam Ward any good? Cade Klubiak's coming back. So he was 36-6 for Clemson. He seems pretty good. Will Howard, Ohio State from Kansas State, 35-10. I think he'll be pretty good in the pros. He did win the national title. He reminds me of Stenson Benson at the Rams. I'd rather have him than Daniel Jones or Fields. Will Howard's better than both of them. McCord, I don't know. He was the Ohio State quarterback who went to Syracuse, 34-12. I'm not smelling what he's cooking. I would avoid this guy. He wasn't good against Michigan. In the big game, he doesn't show up. And at Syracuse, they did beat Miami, but I don't buy it. Chandler Morris, North Texas. Now, here's a good guy, 31-12, 300 yards a game. This is a very underrated quarterback. I could see taking him if I'm Tennessee or something. I'd rather get this guy than Cam Ward. And then there's Jordan McLeod from Texas State, who I really like. Throws for 250 yards a game, 30 touchdowns and 13 picks, and he's mobile. Very good quarterback, Texas State. Much better than Quentin Ewers. 31 touchdowns, 12 picks. I don't know. I like that they beat Michigan, but that's about it. Dylan Gabriel, nobody's talking about him. 30 touchdowns, 6 picks, 275 yards a game. What am I missing with this guy? So I could have, let's see, there's Cam Ward or Dylan Gabriel. All right, Cam Ward, 39-7 with an open offense. Dylan Gabriel, 30-6, much better quarterback. He gives you a little added running. Cam Ward, I wouldn't trust. Again, at Washington State and Prime Junior at Colorado, the last year wasn't any good. Dylan Gabriel was very good at Oklahoma. I don't know why he went to Oregon. I think that was a mistake, but 30-6. I saw that they gave the Oregon coach an extension. I'm going, this guy sucks. He'll never win with this Oregon coach. We're supposed to go for it on fourth down with a minute left in the game when all we have to do is punt it to win and cost this team a championship. I'm not buying this guy. So Gabriel, 30-6. Excuse me. What's wrong with him? Curtis Schwark of Indiana from Ohio, 29 touchdowns and 5 picks. I'm sorry. What's wrong with this guy? So if I need a quarterback, if I'm the JETSs and I'm signing whatchamacallit, my mind's slipping. I'm signing Fields. I'll take Curtis Wark. I'll take Dylan Gabriel. I'll take McLeod. I'll take Chandler Morris in a heartbeat over those guys, over Daniel Jones. What's Indiana going to – this is what I'm saying. There's no quarterback. There's plenty of quarterbacks. But, we've never heard of the Texas State. Does North Texas have a college? Yeah, it's where Mean Joe Mean Joe Green went to North Texas. Dylan Gabriel, Oregon. You ever heard of Oregon? And then Curtis Rourke, Indiana. So you've got plenty of quarterbacks out there. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't have a quarterback. Even Will Howard, Ohio State. He's not great, but he was 35-10. He's not terrible. So here's my point. Dylan Gabriel had 20 sacks, Curtis Rourke 26, McLeod 17 sacks, and you got Prime Jr. 42 sacks. Holds the ball way too long. All right, let's see what's new. New Nussmeier at LSU. He's not in it. I think he's a junior, sophomore. He was 29-12. Jackson Dart, Old Mississippi, 329 yards a game, 29 touches, and 6 picks. And here's where you really question that. I think that's low and way too much running from Ole Miss. As much as they scored, Dart should have like 40 touchdowns and 6 picks. There's a couple of quarterbacks in the 30s. Otherwise, we're already at 29. So you had to be careful of that. I'm not sure. He's more of a runner. I don't think for the pros, I don't think he's got a good game. Carson Beck, Georgia, 28-12. I don't know where he's going. Now, Sawyer Robertson, I love this guy out of Baylor, 28-8, but he only played in 12 games. So, for example, Dart was 13 games, was 29-6. This guy's 28-12 in 12 games. So I remember there was an injury or something, and where they just switched to this guy. But he's very good if he's available. Morton, Texas Tech, 27-8. Again, pretty good. Here's where I get lost. You need a receiver. Just go to Baylor, Texas Tech, Texas Christian, and just grab a receiver. And you can do it in the 4th round. Why do you need these guys? I question the Lions drafting that running back and the receiver from Alabama. And believe me, these guys at Alabama are not any better than the Baylor, Texas Tech, Texas Christian wide receivers. Okay. Not by a long shot. It was the system at Alabama made half these guys, and they're not that good in the pros. So I can live with the Texas Tech, Texas Christian receivers, Baylor, who have great receivers there. So Morton from Texas Tech, 27-8, 280 yards a game. Hoover from Texas Christian, 27-11. I like Morton, Texas Tech, or Robertson. I like better out of Baylor. But why do people just forget the Big 12 when they want quarterbacks? Well, we got to get the guy from Alabama or Ohio State. We got to get Fields, because we know all the Ohio State quarterbacks have gone on to do absolutely nothing in the pros. C.J. Barrett, my favorite, Herb Kirkstreet. What the fuck are they? Why do I get a guy from Ohio State? Will Howard, average at best, might be okay, but not as a first-round pick. Malik Murphy, I like, from Texas, who went to Duke, but he's not in the draft. Kid out on James Madison, Alonzo Burnett, 26 touchdowns and 4 picks. Oh, yeah, but he can't play. Seth Hennigan, Memphis, 25-6. Rocco Beck, I really like, out of Iowa State, 25-9. But very good. Owen McCown. We were making a fortune on Owen McCown the last 4 or 5 weeks. 25 touchdowns and 10 picks, but he really didn't. I don't think he started right away. Then he came in and they were really lighting it up. But at this point, I think I think he's went somewhere, transferred. So, or not, but I think he was a sophomore. Let's see. All right, what else can we do? We can't do McCown. He's not in there. Drew Aller sucks at Penn State, 24-8. Sam Levitt, Arizona State was pretty good. Not great. He'd be like a 6th-round pick or a free agent if he's in there. Tyler Shaw is a very good sleeper, 23-6. Played at Texas Tech, got beat out, went to Louisville, and they were a very good team this year. 23-6, throws for 260 yards. I don't get what's wrong with this guy. Jennings at SMU, he's too young. Not yet. Madsen at Boise, no, I'll pass. Joey Aguilar at App State, very good. A lot of interceptions this year, 23-14, which is unusual. I think I would take a flyer on this guy as a free agent. Although Hartman, why is Hartman not playing? Why aren't the Jets taking Hartman over Fields or Tennessee taking Hartman? This is a good quarterback, and what? Oh, he's not good? Just a second, it's Alyssa. Hello?
What's your address?
All right, 1 second, I'll be right back. 22658. Yeah. Pavilion Court. Well, no. It's what's my address? 22658. I'm thinking. I'm in class right now, so I'm thinking about that. Okay. All right. It's Rotunda Court. Yeah. Apartment 103. Yeah. You're coming here? ROTUNDA. UNDA Court, apartment 103. Building 6. Okay. Bye. Sorry, that was Alyssa, so I had to take it. So where were we at? Quarterbacks. That's about it. Riley Leonard, Notre Dame, 21-8. He's more of a runner. I don't think he's very good. Now this is a 1st-round quarterback, Dagio Pavia, Vanderbilt, 20-4. This is the guy I would draft first if he's on the board. Because I know he played at New Mexico State a few years, and then he played at Vanderbilt, and you saw how good he was. He beat Alabama and barely lost to Texas. So I would think that I would want to go to this guy is a winner. I would take Dagio Pava first pick. If I was Tennessee, I would take him over Cam Ward in a heartbeat. That's what you look for. He's a winner. That's about. Is there anybody else? Tennessee's quarterback I hate. Minnesota's was decent, 18-6. Miller Moss, USC sucked. I like their other quarterback. Anyway, so that's what we have in the draft. So the free agents, I would much rather take Dagio Pava over. I think it's Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Dagio Pava. I would not waste my time with Kirk Cousins, and I would not waste my time with anybody else. So anyway, that's what's going on. So I think Alyssa's coming here, which I thought she was somewhere else. So anyway, gold and silver, let's check that out before we leave. But the free agents are pretty much meaningless. especially these defensive guys, they go from one place to the other. It doesn't mean anything. Let's see. Uh, Gold price 29.16, so it's been pretty consistent. Once it jumped up a little bit at 10 o'clock, and then it's just been, and it'll stay there. And 32.83. Now, let's take a look at Bitcoin. It was 79. It broke 80. Let's see where we're at now. Bitcoin's 82,360. So you need to explain why it went down to 79 and now why it's at 82. Because that I struggle with. What is the value of it and what's causing the value to not do anything? And then let's look at the stock market. And then we will let you go. Class will be over. Stocks today. Dow tumbles. This is 14 minutes ago. Dow tumbles 450 points as new Trump tariffs rekindle market rout. It's got nothing to do with that. We're in a recession. Stock markets today, Dow slides 500 points after Trump pledges 50% tariffs on Canada. So I don't know what he's doing. Stocks rise before Trump meets CEOs as Tesla jumps markets wrap. Why is Tesla dumb? Tesla's they can't sell anything. Their rockets blow up if you want to take a rocket ride with them. Ford's at a whopping $9. Good for Ford. Tesla's at 262. It was down to 220. So I don't know who's buying Tesla. You got to be out of your mind. Anyway, the stock market's down 500 points more today. The drop is coming. This is what's happening. So keep that in mind. And that's about it. So gold 29.16 is about to go to 3,000, 3,500, but we know it's not real. And so you must understand it's not real. Those are just bullshit, derivative based, not free market. What do I mean by free market? If I wanted to put this on eBay and it was a 10, I could get 100,000 for it because that's what the market will bear. That's what somebody will pay me for it. Derivatives are not like that. Derivatives would control the price, not the market. So somebody buys and sells the derivative versus this. This is ridiculous. So that's what we're at as far as that. And so that's what you really want to concentrate on is the fact gold and silver are not free market and are derivative. We know that's not a real price. So the question you're asking is, are we going to get a free market price of gold and silver? And that's what we've been waiting for. And that's why people are a little leery about buying it. But we haven't had this collapse yet, right? We haven't had this get killed. So right now it's it's a new the dollar's been worthless since 71, but you didn't print that much. And then you printed it, but you had the petrodollar, so people had to buy it. But now they don't. Now it's gone. Now there's no value. And so therefore this is the problem. So you have very little value of anything. Now they're going to hide it, but that's what BRICS is doing. They're saying, "Hey, we're going to buy gold and silver, and we want to get out of the dollar. We want to get out of your treasuries," and that's what's happening. So, just so you understand that. So, anyway, realize that. That's the why. BRICS is the why gold and silver will go up. It's very, very limited. It's just about gone. Understand that. And again, like the ETFs are like selling 1,000 of these, but I only have one. How can you sell 1,000 of them? You only have one. Well, people will buy ETFs. They think they have gold, so I'll just I'll Ponzi scheme them. So be careful of the Madoffs out there and the Ponzi schemes. There's too many of them out there. Anyway, I got to see what Alyssa wants. We will see. My Daria, we'll see when her little dental or medical thing is. She should be more relaxed. She was supposed to get her perfume today, that her birthday gift that they had to order, but it came in. So I'd already given her money to do that. It's a birthday present. That'll make her feel good. So that's the point of it. I was watching Stoic. So one quick thing on women and Stoic for us guys. You never tell them they're beautiful. You tell them that you want them. So if you say, "Oh, you've got pretty eyes," or they hear that all the time, you're one of many to say the same thing. So what you got to do is sit there and go, I really want you. There's something about you. You're very special. I want you. That's how you get the girl, not by telling them they're pretty. They know they're pretty, especially a pretty girl. She knows she's pretty, so you can't tell her she's pretty. But if you tell her you want, and I get that from Daria, again, Russian culture. She said, "I'm with you," and I didn't know that meant serious. And then she says, what did she say? She sent me a message yesterday or the day before. No, it was probably yesterday. And she said, I am good today. Thank you. I feel safe with you. What does that mean in American, right? It means that she's serious with me, but you got to know Russian culture to understand that. So that's what it is with her. She's safe with me means that she's comfortable and serious and everything else. So when I worry about are we meeting and I get that, I'm safe with you and I'm with you. That's what it means. So I always say I'm with her. I didn't know what it meant. She would say I'm with you and I'd say I'm with you. Like, yeah. But now I understand no, I'm your girl. You're my man. So that's what you got to do with it. So hopefully we'll meet soon again. They keep trying to end the war and then people don't want it. They think that according to that CIA guy, that recessions end wars, which is bullshit. It's very expensive. It doesn't end the war. It creates jobs, doesn't end recessions. So we're in a recession and they're doing the war to get out of the recession, and the recession is caused by printing too much of this shit, making it worthless. This is your recession. So you've got to understand that. So the recession cannot be fixed by wars, cannot be fixed by money printing, and inflation is not prices, it's money printing making the dollar worthless. And so if you understand that, that's where we're at. So anyway, that's where you go. So that's good. If questions, comments, please, you can get me on www.teaserking.com and get my you can get my email and email me there. I get plenty of emails. So feel comfortable. I will answer the questions. And that's about it. So I think that's good. Hope you had a good day. Sorry for the second one. We keep doing this where I get internet. And now here I'm on an hour 49. I got no internet interruptions, but in the first one, after an hour, I did. Anyway, we covered a lot in the first one, more on economics. Why do we use Comex and the recession that's here that nobody wants to tell you about? We are in a recession. The money is worthless. You want to get into gold and silver. Now, I do not sell it. I have my own personal stuff, but I don't sell it. So I am not in it. I have no skin in the game. So I am telling you, as a professor of Austrian economics, so I have no, where like Peter Schiff's trying to get you to buy his gold because he sells it. I'm not. I'm just telling you, there's nothing in it for me. So keep that in mind. So have a good day. Enjoy your Tuesday. It's getting warm here in Detroit, and we're on daylight savings time. So I don't know what the fuck time it is. I see it's 2:30. My body says 1:30. It really fucked me up on eating because I don't want to eat till like 11:30, but daylight savings made 10:30, 11:30. Well, I didn't want to eat until now. So now I'm back. Like today, I didn't eat till 11, which is still 10 o'clock. But then dinner is over at 6, is now 5. So I'm fucked up for the week, but I'll get going. So anyway, have a wonderful day. www.teaserking.com. Buy your gold and silver because A, you'll never see silver at this price again, or gold. And B, it's lucky if you can find it. Seems like you can find, there's a little bit more silver that's available, but gold, you basically, you're going to be lucky to find it, and it's going to cost you a lot more. So keep that in mind. We should see $3,000 gold soon, 3,500 up to 5,000, and my guess is at least 10,000 an ounce soon. And again, it's hard to project, but the key is we know there's demand of gold here, and we know COMEX is here. So the question is, what price is this? Is this 5? Is it 10? Is it 20,000? We don't know, but we do know you have to get out of dollars and get into gold, right? You have to get out of dollars because it's worthless. And the only thing you get into is gold and silver, the lifeboats. So that will create this demand and keep it there. And you won't have a choice. That's why there's nobody selling gold. I mean, the mom and pop selling an ounce or two here and there, but nobody, central banks are buying. That's the demand, and it's just going to keep being bought. And then this is just a joke trying to hold the price down. So I guess Russia and China can buy it cheap. I mean, there's no other reason to hold the price down. So anyway, that's where you're at. Be careful in your stocks and Bitcoin and your bank. Get the hell out of it soon. Take your profit and leave and get out of dollars because this isn't worth anything. You keep 500 grand in the bank. It's, so you had a 401k of 500 grand. What's it worth today? 400 grand, 300 grand. So we will see. All right. Well, have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. I'll see you tomorrow and enjoy. I'm off to the pool soon after I eat something. All right. Take care, everybody.